Today we are meeting with Pietro Mincuzzi, CTO of TroubleMaker, a Shenzhen makerspace for like-minded people in the middle of Huaxiang Bay, a place where you can prototype any electronics in the world. He talks about what it takes to be a startup founder and the startup scene here. Enjoy! Okay, first round. Okay, Mac or PC?
Linux, not with
Oh,
Windows.
Linux. That's nice.
Yeah.
Actually, a lot of web servers use Linux, so it's very nice to hear that. Okay, next, iPhone or Android?
Normal phone, Android.
Android, cool. Tea or coffee?
Coffee. Yeah, I
coffee.
drink coffee.
Okay.
I'm Italian, is more common.
Oh, of course. Yeah. A lot of good coffees from Italy. Yeah, so yeah. WhatsApp or WeChat?
Well, WhatsApp doesn't work here, so of course I use WeChat.
Cool. So can you spend some time talking about your background?
Okay. So my background really based in my very first years. So I was around, I was playing with Lego when I was very small, but then let's say around 10, 11, I started playing with electronics, and then I went on like that. Around 20, I started playing also with informatics. And then around 30, I had my own company making industrial automation. At 40, I came to China. And then now after 20 years in China, I still make industrial automation, make projects, make assistance to company producing new products, designing new stuff. I started several activities myself. I developed projects together with others, and at this moment I am a consultant, and I work with TroubleMaker, with the core team of TroubleMaker, also to build the TroubleMaker community. And TroubleMaker is a makerspace in Shenzhen, Huaqiang Bay.
Cool. Speaking of TroubleMaker, yesterday I interviewed Lawrence von Thomas. Do you know him?
Yeah. Yes, of course.
I saw him in your website, the TroubleMaker website. Yeah. It's very cool. So, can you talk more about TroubleMaker and how do people get in?
Well, I can say the way I arrived to TroubleMaker, I was in Guangzhou, and in the last 2 years, before last year, I had to take care of things in Europe because of family, and then I kind of lost a little bit of contact with my customers in China, and then I was looking for new opportunities, especially new customers, new projects, and then I was asking some friends, and they told me, well, maybe you should join this community. It's called TroubleMaker on WeChat. So I joined the community, and then by following some requests, I answered, and then the people I was answering to were not actually picking up my answer, but Hank, who is the CEO of TroubleMaker and one of the founders, asked me if I was happy to go and visit. So I came to Shenzhen. It was a Friday. Next Monday I moved to Shenzhen. I'm still here.
Oh.
And yeah, I was quite fascinated by the situation, by the fact that it's possible to do what I most like, which is invent solutions, help others that have some stuck somewhere, help with experience that I have accumulated, and also be challenged with projects for myself. And I was also very happy with the kind of mindset, which is not so strongly profit business oriented, is mostly oriented to make a sustainable business, providing space for innovation, providing space for ideas, providing space for challenging assumptions, without extremely strong, let's say, financial pressure. So normally startups tend to be oriented to make profit, while I think people in TroubleMaker, most of people are oriented to create something. And of course, something has to make sense to be sustainable, but sustainability, it's is a tool to achieve a result. So money is as well, but money is not exactly the aim. While I've seen in other places, especially in relation with China, money is the key reason why people do things. So whatever, as long as it makes money.
Wow, you have answered my second question. Is that your view in like a lot of business in China? So it's very like financial oriented?
I think there is a fact that in China, the interaction within people is very often based on, let's say, of course, people interaction, so social interaction. And the social interaction, it's not that much connected with products or with goods, with the values that are exchanged. What is exchanged is actually the transaction. So very often Chinese tend to move everything toward the commercial side of things, because more than what you sell is important that you sell. So the fact that there is a transaction within people, and yeah, of course, it's that means money, but it's also the root for the interconnection within people outside of the family. Let's say people easily get in touch because of some commercial transaction. So that means in China, a lot of business is based on the transaction, not on the product.
So you have to make it clear for the people that there's a transaction going on in order for business to be done. Is that?
It's not only that. It's, for example, I was in Shenzhen. I was helping a friend with a project. We were trying to design a new type of mold for plastic injection machines. And we found some shops around, because it was an industrial area, so shops around selling very specific components and tools. So we were going to this shop, and he was actually selling nice stuff. They had no idea what they were selling. Anyway, they were selling nice stuff. By chance, they got nice stuff. After 2 weeks, we passed again by the shop. They were selling potatoes, because they found that potatoes sell better. So they passed from high-end tools for machining to potatoes. And that was perfectly in line with their concept. So it doesn't matter what, as long as it makes money, as long as it sells.
Wow, that's quite a pivoting. Normally for a startup, it takes them a while before they change to that level. Wow.
Well, that was not a startup. That was just a shop, a normal shop.
It's a shop.
But just to explain the mindset that is quite common in China. So that means that I notice startups in China, they, even during the startup weekend, sometimes people tell me, yeah, we want to do this and that because we have seen there is some need for this and that, but we want to sell in this way, and then the people will pay us, and then when I go a little deeper, I try to understand more about the solution they are providing, what they are selling, and there is nothing behind that. There is just the fact that they have seen there is an opening, a kind of commercial channel, so they focus on the commercial channel, which may work, because in the end you don't really need to produce anything. You just find anything that fits inside that channel, and you become a specialized commercial channel. Sometimes they don't understand that, so they keep mixing up things with yeah, we need the product because we have the channel, and but they cannot describe the product because they are really not product oriented. They cannot even describe how the need of that channel can identify a product. So that becomes really a big challenge for them.
So they don't have MVP.
Yeah, they don't even have an idea of what they should put in an MVP.
Yeah, I saw that as well. A lot of them refocus on the existence of the problem. Yeah. Okay.
So on the other side, you can say that Western people tend to see a solution, but they have actually no idea how to bring this solution to a market. They don't even know if there is a market. They cannot even make a proper evaluation of the value they can add and the monetization they can make of the solution, because they are just focused on the fact that they have a nice solution. So there is a kind of total ingenuity from a commercial point of view in the Western company, and there is the same total ingenuity but for the product side in the Chinese companies.
So that's good, because from what you just described, China right now still needs like foreign companies or foreigners to come and help with the startup area, right?
No, I would say everyone has to focus on what is their capability, what is their specialty, what is the value of what they can do with that specialty, and then they can become very good commercial startup or very good engineering or technical startup, and especially they can cooperate. I don't think it's easy to bring people out of their comfort zone, but it's very important to have them properly understanding what is their comfort zone, because then they can use it.
It's very good. So what do you think are the best business ideas or trends from 2020?
What do you mean? I don't get
I
exactly.
mean, like, do you see anything that is going on, like a lot of people do in terms of startups? Like, what kind of ideas would be like going forward would be happening?
About the specific time now, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, it's a little bit early to say. What I can say is just based on let's say observation and common sense. It seems like this global situation has determined a turning point for many things. I think there is a strong possibility that the lockdown has start showing to people a possibility of different way of life, and the huge economic consequences of this situation will definitely change the let's say the panorama for people. I mean the environment for people. So easily people will not have resources to pay for the cost of their life the way it is. They will have no resources even to pay for the cost of work, because nowadays to work is a very expensive thing. So people are understanding that they stay home, but they cut also their cost. So a reduction in the in and out of families is probably gonna be a long-lasting thing, not only because of economic difficulties, but also because there is understanding that a lot of expenses and a lot of need for money are really not justified. They're purely due to the fact that you have to be in line with everything new, you have to be a compliant consumer, and even if it's not named like that, it's an obvious thing, and becomes more obvious when the commercial pressure to keep buying things goes away, because you cannot go out or you don't have money. So that is to say that in order for activities to remain profitable, they will have to refocus very much. And like large industrial activities, like car industry, I think is gonna fail in a few years. It's already in a trend for failure, and that is because people have no time to drive cars. People spend their time checking the mobile phone. One of the, I would say, the only real big reason why there is a pressure towards self-driving car is because people have no time to drive car. They have much better thing to do. That will imply also that people will not be happy to be on a car which is self-driving, and that car may cause an accident that they will be responsible for. No insurance will cover them. So the only model of car use will be using a service like self-driving Uber. And then there will be companies that take the responsibility for that. But that means that you need many less cars, and they will be used in a much more efficient way. And so all the huge resource consuming industry related to car is going to disappear. But on the other side, industry that consume much less resources and add value on easily renewable things like information. And that, for example, the telephone industry, the online service industry, the small electronic device, additional equipment that extend your personal capability. Well, that is something that is gonna develop much more. So any company, especially startup, because startups are the one that have the speed and the let's say innovative spirit to come with something that can fill in that space, have a big opportunity, and it will be exactly in this sense. So new services and new devices based on high tech and low impact in terms of resources.
Do you think 5G is going to be a big thing in the coming years?
Well, that is just a name. It's a commercial name. The increase of connectivity, it's definitely happening. And it's much cheaper for everyone, including for the environment, to have a double capability in the internet than to increase 10% the transportation traffic. So of course it's a kind of natural thing. Something that is not sustainable is not gonna stay around. Something which is intrinsically more sustainable is gonna develop more.
Yeah, because people have been selling that 5G thing all around in Hong Kong, like all the time. But I think just an increase in connectivity. That's right. Yeah. So in your work, you must have seen a lot of startup founders, because you work with TroubleMakers, and you must have seen a lot of those type of people. Can you name a characteristic that a startup founder must have?
To be successful, well, must be extremely clear about the value that he or herself can bring to the operation. Must have a kind of A to Z path idea. Even if some step is not yet defined, they must have an idea there are those steps. So they have to go through all the steps. And so they will be able to find the resources that they need for each step.
And is there any pitfall or anything that an engineer, an entrepreneur never do? They should never do something like that.
Well, it depends on the type of entrepreneur, but in general, it's also related to what I said before. What is the value they personally can add? Because in that case, they can understand who they need. And then what people easily do is, I'm good at doing all, I don't need others. I think the best entrepreneur is the one who is not capable to do anything but building a team.
Knowing the right people.
Yeah, find the right people. Of course, have to have an idea, has to have ownership of the idea, and must be very motivated. But the motivation should not be just love for the idea or generic enthusiasm. Has to be a vision, a kind of clear path.
Can you perhaps name a few tips for startup founders?
Yes, it's easily is check whether you really want to make a startup. Check if it's any good reason for you to try to maybe join other teams, to also validate your idea through existing things. Like sometimes people have the idea that, oh yeah, I want to make this new website that can do this and that. But they don't imagine that what they can do is actually use something that is already existing, and they can like make a proof of concept of what they have in mind. Because when they are done with that, like on a normal social media page, then when they are done with that, they have all the elements they need to create their own stuff.
Yeah. As a programmer, I've met a lot of people, a lot of programmers actually. They want to start something, but they all insist of using like very ancient tools that they're familiar with, instead of using like something like a few clicks and then they can build the whole thing, right? Because they want to be like hardcore, but the problem is it takes them forever to build sometimes. Yeah. Anyway.
Well, I tell you one thing. I tell you an example, slightly different is I've been hiring software engineers. And now when I hire a software engineer, I'm really nasty with my test. The thing I do is first I give them a computer that is not working, but the reason why it's not working is just because you have to open the computer and reconnect the cable. But that is a kind of preliminary test, because I say, well, if you need to write software, you must be able to understand your computer. Anyway, the next step is I give them a problem and I say, please find a software solution for this problem. I never say develop it, I just say find it. They have a computer, the computer is connected to the internet, they can search the solution. They can just go and tell me, look, there is already an open source thing, I can use this one, or there is a service online that can do this one, and that is exactly what I want them to do. Because the concept behind this is if there is a solution out, then you can use it, or at least you can compare it and see whether you can improve it. If there is no solution out and you have searched, that means that whatever you make as a solution, then it will solve your problem and other people's problem. So you have a valid reason to make it and to sell it. But so far, I've not found a single software engineer capable to come with this. They always come with something. Yeah, they write something, they do some. The smartest one, they tell me what they would do, and they don't even start doing. That is already nice, because at least we can discuss. But some come with some piece of mock-up solution, and they say, yeah, you are very nice, but then we need to find someone to work on top of you to tell you what to do.
Okay. Wow, there's some great insight. Okay, that's very cool. Okay. What age, in your opinion, is the best age to start a startup?
Oh, well, you have to be very, very young, very energetic, very motivated, very prepared for it. Well, I would say I'm 60 and I start to be ready in terms of experience, in terms of enthusiasm, in terms of every of these things. So it doesn't really matter the age. It's important how you are in your development, in your personal development. I've found people even younger than 20 that are just perfect. And there are people, many engineers, even older than me, they will never be ready to be entrepreneur.
So it's different for each person then, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, okay. So, as an entrepreneur, what makes you roll your eyes every time you hear it? Is there someone else that say something that will upset you, and that is, something that you hear all the time?
Well, you see, I know I myself I'm not especially talented entrepreneur in terms really of entrepreneurship. I can bring my entrepreneurship together with others, but if I need to do something totally on my own, I did things, but I cannot say I super succeeded. In fact, I'm still doing other things, keep doing other things. So something that I hear, and it's let's say there are so many things that I hear, and I need to stop and think and say, well, maybe I am wrong. Maybe I have to let them go on with their idea and see by themselves they will make a mistake. So I cannot say I get upset when I hear something. One thing that I definitely cannot accept is people who come to the point to say, yes, I do something because I want money. And then I tell them, if you want to make money, you go and rob a bank. You make a good plan, you rob a bank, you make money. Because money, that is just for money. There is no any other reason to do things. If you want to do something, you have to consider money as a tool. You will not eat money. You will not use the money as a final thing, because then when you have the money, what do you do? If that is your mindset, you are not an entrepreneur.
That's a very interesting view of entrepreneurship. That's great. So, as
an entrepreneur are part of the society, so you are gonna do play a role in the society, and the role you have is not the one who makes money; it's the one who provides something.
Yeah, agree. Yeah, it has to be more about your passion. Yeah, how you improve the society. Yeah,
your capability that goes with your passion, of course.
Yeah. So, as a Startup Weekend mentor, how was your experience with Startup Weekend?
With Startup Weekend as an organization, okay, it's interesting.
No, as an event, like when you go there and help them.
I know, I was getting there also.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah, it's always very interesting. As I said, it's a way for me to learn more, to understand how people approach problems, how people approach their shortcomings in developing things. So yeah, for me it's always a very interesting and challenging thing.
So do you think that like between, like, we're talking about Friday night to Sunday night, do the participants actually improve in the pitches? I mean, the idea forming, the validation, and in the business model?
I can say that a few times I've even given this advice. I said, guys, you have an idea, you want to make something coming out of that, but you also have to understand this is a world of people interaction. So people interaction means that in order to have that idea developed one day, you have to pass with this very first step, which is to arrive with a convincing presentation, a convincing pitching of your idea. So that is your aim in this moment. Then, because that is your aim in this moment, try to go backward. Try to start from the presentation of your idea. And then you will find all the shortcoming of your presentation, and then also the shortcoming of your idea. And then working backward, you will never arrive at the end without a presentation. You will arrive with a presentation that is getting better any moment you go on. Now, I've seen that when I start giving this kind of advice, some team has come out with very impressive presentation, despite the idea was really not yet developed at any level.
That's excellent. Yeah. So that's why you become a mentor, right?
Well, Dana was inviting me the first time. She came to an event long ago in TroubleMaker. We met and she said, oh, I would like to invite you because we had a little bit of chat. And then I said, well, sounds challenging and interesting. So I was invited from the first time, and so far, pretty much every time I was involved. One time I was really too busy. But...
Yeah, so
and
you every time.
Yes, and once I was also invited at the first startup weekend in Chongqing, but that time I had to change my schedule. So in the end, I was invited as a judge. And I understand the role of the judge, and I understand it's totally different than the role of the mentor. But and I also understand it's interesting. I think I play better as a mentor. Anyway, the judges, it's also okay, because you see, the mentor is the one who, let's say, prepare everything that has to go through that door. The door is the door that goes from having the idea, preparing it, preparing the what to say to the world, and then once that is done, the judge is the one who opened the door to the world. So it says, yes, your idea is passing this door or not. And then the judge has a kind of quality assurance role, which is also very important.
That's excellent. Actually, because I've never been a judge, nor have I been a mentor, I actually didn't distinguish the difference to that level. But that was an excellent answer, Pietro. Thank you. And I think we are running out of questions. I think that's pretty much it. Thank you, Pietro, for this interview.
Oh, you're welcome.